I'm gonna go ahead and second intro this because this probably gonna be a two-part, John. Let's go. Should we start and stop? This is the life that we
You know
chose.
what I'm saying? That's exactly how it's gonna be. Yeah.
Yo, yeah. Y'all heard us last week, man. Y'all heard us last week. We are not finished. It's been 3 weeks, man. Been 3 weeks. We had to prep that
Three
content
weeks.
in advance, so it's really been like 6 weeks for us. Y'all not ready for this
You're not
energy
ready
right
for it.
now.
You're not ready for this
Been a
energy,
long
bro.
time.
And you about to squeeze me. You like, yo, why you why you
It's been a
hot and
lot. I'm trying
heavy?
to get to you know how hard it is to try to stay light when you got 10 minutes left and then you seeing the time go down like damn. Nah, we not done talking,
We
man. We
not
not done
done.
talking 'cause the energy
Mm-hmm.
is different, bro.
Yeah.
The energy is real, real different. Listen, if y'all are listening on your favorite audio streaming platform, 5 stars. Only 5 of them.
Only
Because
five.
we got different energy right now. Oh my God. If
Five.
you're on YouTube, likes and subscribes. Only. Only
Only.
likes and subscribes. All
Yeah.
right. Big energy. Yeah.
Big.
We in a building. This is
I
chemistry.
dream big.
Yeah, you're gonna have to drop that record soon too. Yeah, we're gonna
That's
have
the
to do something
plan.
with
That's the plan. Yeah, I'm a, I gotta get into the studio. Honestly, I want to drop a project now.
Yeah,
They gas me all the way up. I got tracks, bro. I got tracks, bro. I ain't
yes.
gonna hold you. Like, I got some Johns.
I love it.
Hmm.
I love it. I love it. So where did we leave off? Damn, we was talking about showing up, being feeling valued. Yo, $1.25 versus six ninety
Yeah,
nine.
yeah, being in
Yeah,
that spaces, it makes all the difference.
yeah, being able to see your value, or be shown your value at that capacity, and
Hmm.
then to come back knowing that, like it changes your perspective on how you walk around in the world that you're
It
in.
changes it, a lot of it. It's a strong boost to the confidence, bro. Strong
Yeah,
boost to the confidence, And I think I got that confidence boost in so many ways, not only to like my artistic ego, where it's like I created music that people enjoyed, like I know they enjoyed it. Like for the, 3 weeks I was out there, I'm driving, even when we in the car, we could just be sitting down randomly, somebody be like, Pura vida en Costa Rica. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or like just randomly, I dream big. Out of
yeah.
nowhere, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I knew that it was like sitting in people, you know what I mean? And
Got it.
I know it was sitting in people. So like not only artistically was there that encouragement, but there was also because I was with incredible artists who were also like to be in a space with artists that you know were has been doing it for as long as they have and has seen the success that they have. That encouraged me because it was like, oh, if I'm with you guys, I must have that, I must have that characteristic too. So like,
Yeah,
okay. And that's what I mean by changing your environment. Because if you stay around people who, if you stay around small minds, you might have some small thoughts. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And if you keep staying into these like environments where people don't recognize the value of who you are, very famous quote, you will shrink yourself to the size of what people can tolerate, you
Mm,
know? And you don't
yeah.
want that. You don't want that. In fact, like I need people, I recognize being out there that I want to be around people who are doing much better than I am, you know,
Mm.
much better than I am. And it's not like, and I don't walk
So
away. Go ahead.
no, no. Did you fear that at all? Like, was that ever like because and you know what? I'm asking this rhetorically because I know you, but I just feel like in a lot of ways, I guess what I should really say is that a lot of people fear others success around them. So it's like, yeah, I'm rooting for you so long as you're somewhere right behind me or next to me. But if you start getting above, it's like that's where jealousy, that's where envy starts popping up. Like, how do you end up in a space where your mindset is like, I love that shit over there. I love seeing all of y'all like, and I'm reaching,
Mm,
because I think a lot of people are are very what's insecure in that kind of a space. Everybody wants to be the one who knows it all. Everybody wants to be the one who has the most love, the most energy. How do you combat that? Or how is that actually giving you energy?
So I'm gonna be fully transparent. I'm gonna be honest with you because I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
gotta say this first, right?
Okay.
Is that like I was the only MC, you know?
Yeah.
I was the MC. There was four of us, four artists, and I was the only MC. So
Okay.
and because of I think that matters, right? And the reason
Yeah.
why it matters is because I can feel great about myself. I'm the only one here. You know what I mean? Like out of the
Mm.
four though, because granted we also
Yeah.
had Pinky, who was our site manager. She was also an MC, but like they like, you know,
That
the
wasn't
four
her
artists,
role that
that
day.
wasn't, yeah, that wasn't her main role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like those opportunities that was for the rapper was for me. So it was like I had a
Mm.
space to always be in, right? So I'm gonna preface it by saying that because I can imagine like I would have felt differently if it was like a group of four rappers who were all great. Then I would have
Mm.
felt more intimidated, you know what I mean, about
Okay.
being who I was. All right. So I want to
Got it.
preface that, you know what I mean? But the other half of what I was gonna say was that like it's one thing for it's one thing for all of us to be the artist, but it's like uh how do I say this? Because I'm kind of like losing my train of thought in that.
All good.
Yeah, I we've been talking
No, no,
about
it's
this for
cool. It's
so
cool.
long
Yeah,
that I was like
yeah. No, that's
every
an
time I
interesting thing. That's an interesting thing too, though, because like I feel like I like in experiencing like group relationships, a lot of times groups fall apart because there's a lot of people playing one role, like a lot of artists and not enough business and
yeah
marketing and structure. Everybody wants to be the face of the
yeah
company, and it's like, so that plays an interesting role. So
excuse me,
I'm glad you did mention that, because it's like everybody had their
we
own
had a
lane.
lane.
It was like you can't get in the way of the dancer's lane because she the like this the dancer,
Yep.
like the only one. And then so I
Yeah,
mean,
while we were out there,
yeah.
we used to when we were in Costa Rica, we would use the term like living in your ministry. You
Mm,
know, because we all recognized that. We was like, oh, it's so beautiful. Each one of us is living in our ministry. You know what I
yeah.
mean? How we express ourselves. So I think like that, you know, that made a dramatic difference as far as like, you know, wanting to be around people who are, you know, more successful than I am. But I also will say too, right? And this is I now recall what I was gonna do before, is that like I know that there's because sometimes when you say to yourself, if I'm around people who are better than me, then it'll make me feel inadequate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's some extent, and this is what I was saying before when I was in the room for orientation and all these people were like rapping for 40 years, because I did feel those feelings of inadequacy, because I was like, I don't
Okay.
know, you know, I don't know the origins of hip hop the way you know. Like I don't, you sound like
Yeah.
you was talking about you was with the Boogie Down crew. Like what the like what, you was out here,
Got it.
you was on the stoops. Oh, okay. You know this person? And I'm like, no, I don't. I have no idea who that is. Like, you know. So yeah, it was a lot of that. And there was feelings of inadequacy there, you know what I mean? But I think that what I had to tell myself, because what was as equally as true as me not knowing what they were talking about was also knowing that I'm still in the same room as you.
Yeah.
I'm
You
still
got
here.
here.
I got here.
I got here.
I got here
Yeah.
somehow. Like I
Yeah.
got here somehow. You know what I mean? Because I know people who applied to this program who didn't get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also know that like the success rate for people to like, you know, there are people who apply for years and don't get into the next level program. So
Yeah.
like and to that extent, there's also like like I had to tell myself that like regardless of what I think about myself, something brought me here, you know?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
in a lot of ways, like, you know, me being, that's what I mean by saying like when I had people around me, they were good at what they were doing, they were better than me, they were excelling, they were doing that because
Yeah.
they were the artists on that trip was the representation for me, just like how I was the
Got it.
representation for the students.
Got
They
it.
showed me that like, oh wait, I could be 45 years old touring, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
doing cultural diplomacy work or doing this kind of work. That's crazy. I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? I want to do that. And they were examples, they were representations of people who were living in their ministry. They didn't give
Yeah.
up and they kept going after it. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
want to be around people who are doing better than me.
Mm. Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
we here now.
Woo. Woo.
We here now.
So, damn, I had a question and I lost my train of thought. Ah, what was the question? What was the question? What was the question?
It's all good. I was feeling the
Lost
same
it.
way too, because like I feel like every time we talk
Because
about
it's
this,
like, yeah, we talking, so I'm like, all right, it's another thing coming, and I'm like, all
there's
right, I'm gonna let you
layers.
finish. It's
There's
so
layers.
it's so many layers to this. It is
Yeah.
so many layers to this, and I can actually even say that I learned a lot even just watching this experience because, I mean, I was definitely one of those people that didn't make the cut,
Yeah,
and so
and you
I
were a
think that,
rapper. Like
and I'm a rapper,
let's be the
like
hundred. Like out of
I'm
us
a
two,
rap
you was the
rapper.
rapper. Like I
I'm a
I tell
rap rapper. And so like I
yeah.
think that one of the things that like that I feel that people need to take from this, and it was something that I needed to take from it as well, like on the opposite end of it, it doesn't tell me anything about how, you know, that I'm not any less of a rapper because of it, but I don't need rap or anything to do whatever the thing is, because it's
Yep.
like I went in there presentation trying to flip and do all 100 different things in my this is me,
Yeah.
and it was like, nah, we really don't, we'll need all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, and so like on paper, it's like, oh, but she's the rapper. Like, but at the same time, it didn't really matter.
No.
It's about where you are in your journey and how you're going to be in that space
In that space.
regardless.
Yep.
In
Yeah.
that space regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I
so
that was it was a conversation because even when I applied for the program, man, I didn't have no raps, I didn't have no songs out, I didn't have nothing to prove that I was capable of doing that. So my submission was a rap. Like, you know what I mean? I
yeah,
rap for my submission because I'm like, listen, I can rap. Yeah, I may not be
yeah,
doing that consistently, but I can do it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I do that, and then I'll rely heavily on, my artist education experience, my traveling experience, my, CV, my portfolio. And I think that, I know between the time that they selected me to the time that I got, to Costa Rica, there was definitely some like, yo, can she do it? Like, is she gonna pop up? You know what I mean? Like, how's she going? You know what I mean? And I think that like that was also a lot of pressure. And it was good
yeah,
pressure though. You know what I mean? Because it was
yeah,
like I told myself right before I left, yo, right before I left for Costa Rica, I was inside of this studio working on tracks every single day.
yeah,
Every
yeah,
single day. Cause I was like,
yeah,
okay, now it's time for me to turn on. Now it's time for me to
yeah,
do this. Now it's time for me to do the thing that's uncomfortable that's gonna scare me. I was working on tracks every single day. And
yeah.
I
It's
went
like,
for
yeah,
a
you
week
gotta step up
straight.
to the plate. You
Yeah, like
gotta step up to the plate.
gotta step up to the plate. And like not only did I step up, but like I inspired a lot of artists to start writing and creating, being out. That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy. That like my students weren't writing before, and it's like, oh yeah, like this is I haven't written in so long, and you just got me to write. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Same thing with my site manager. My site manager was like, oh, it's been a minute since I wrote, and she actually ended up doing the second verse on Dream Big for the finale.
Mm.
Came out on a stage, and she was like, she hit me. She was like, yo, like just watching you, go for like do what you're doing. Bro, I was having concerts inside of my hotel room. I would go on Instagram Live and just turn it on, and I would just play my songs because I had a little pocket of songs, you know what I mean, that
Yeah,
I didn't even perform in Costa Rica. I would just go on there and I'd just be spitting. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I went into that identity 100%. You can't stop me. You know what I
Mm.
mean? You
Mm.
can't stop
Big
me.
energy. Big,
Big
big, big
energy.
energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. I keep losing the thing that I'm following up with. I was writing them down first as you was talking before, and then I
Yeah.
got lost in the conversation. So now I can't can't
Yeah, no, that keeps
remember where I left off.
yeah, that keeps happening for me too. I'm not even gonna hold you because it's like, I think for anyone who's interested in doing residency programs, like I also think that this was a very it was a perfect storm. you know
Yeah.
I think this particular residency was a perfect storm because I don't know personally, but I severely doubt Paris was the way Costa Rica went. You know what I mean? And they probably had a great time. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it was, anything, bad about it, but like it wasn't the same experience. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Simply because you also got to think too, like, you do these residencies, but the culture, the hip hop culture in Limon, Costa Rica isn't the same as the hip hop culture in Paris, France.
Yeah.
right? So because you have you have much more established artists in Paris. You know what I mean? They've
Yeah.
worked on MacBooks and had recording studios, and you probably aren't doing the same classes you're going to be doing, on the Caribbean coast. You know what I mean? Also just the temperature. Like shout out to them because they was out there in the cold. Like Paris is
Yeah.
cold. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, I definitely learned that quick fast. Learn
Paris
that
is
quick
cold.
fast. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here thinking, oh, I'm gonna bring some fly. No, no,
No.
jackets, coats.
Yep.
It
That's exactly
is
what they was.
chilly out there.
They that's exactly how they looked. You know what
It
I
is
mean?
chilly out there. They
Yeah.
do have a cool scene. They do have a cool scene, but it's definitely different. They're like a lot more advanced when it comes to the
Yeah.
music and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
it was a that's which is why I say like we were a perfect storm because it was like there's gonna be three more residencies that next level goes on throughout the year. I don't know the other locations. I think it's like Africa and probably like Europe or something like that. But excuse me, and those teams are gonna go out there and they're gonna have entirely different experiences. That's what kind of makes the what just happened earlier this year honestly something that like will forever be in my heart as like a moment in time that I'll have to relive through memories and nostalgia. You know what I mean? One of those things where it's like it was a once in a lifetime. It was a
yeah.
once in a lifetime. Perfect, perfect storm of like, the right team, the students who are willing to pour into me and me pour into them and like, it was just a perfect storm.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful. All right, so you
I am back.
back in this world,
Mm-hmm.
back in Jersey. What's the energy now? Because you said we on 10 now. You said you on
Yeah.
go. So what's the energy right now? Like what does it look like for you to move as an artist back in the United States where, I guess the idea of like what music means or what art means is a lot more, oh my bad, is a lot more it's taken for granted. A lot of people feel like everybody's out here doing this, So how do you feel that sense of value that you felt out there when it was like, okay, I'm an anomaly out here versus what you would consider as one of many trying to do the same thing? How do you differentiate now?
So I think that Costa Rica was a very exaggerated version of what I would do here in the States anyway, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by that. Like I always prided myself, and this was something that I wrote about in the book too, was that like if I always want to be the only poet somebody knows, right? Or the only like person doing what I'm doing that somebody knows.
Mm,
I wasn't like heavy in the poetry scene. That's changing this year because I'm trying to get into slams and that's one of the things too cuz slam scared me. It was a fear for me and I'm conquering that fear by doing those by being a part of the poetry slam scene this year.
yeah.
But I wasn't really in the poetry scene and the reason I wasn't there is because everybody there was poets, right?
Yeah.
And like I wanted to stand out. And then in order for me to do that in order for me to see my value as a poet, it wasn't in a room full of poets because I see myself as everybody else. So what I was
Mm,
doing was that like I was in rooms where I was the only poet who was there. You know what I mean? So
mm,
when we would go to events, it was like business events or it was like events where, marketing events or something like that. And it's ways that I would be like, oh, okay, did you know I'm a professional storyteller? I can help, sell your message or I can help you with advertising or help you with social media or whatever the case may be. Or, you know what I mean? Like even when you think
yeah.
about Prana, I was, I was the only, I had to have been the only poet who performed. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
who like applied because their entire demographic wasn't even poets. Like it was, they were rock
Yeah.
climbers and like and
Yeah.
surfers. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah. So it's like you had a lot of content creators versus like, all right, let me
yeah. So it's
yeah.
like when we talk about jumping back in there, it's not like I'm doing the same thing that I was doing before. The thing is that I just keep getting more confirmation that this is the right way to go about this. And it's really
Mm,
that like I the best way for me to stand out is to be in places that truly recognize my value. You know what I mean?
mm,
And sometimes changing that environment means being in places where you may be a rarity or being in spaces where you may symbolize or embody something that could help somebody. You know what I mean? And I think it's just is that. you know?
Damn, I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, because like
Yeah.
like even you mentioned in like how everybody had their own lane. It was like you had the performing arts section of that like
Hmm.
that lane. So it's like all right, when I walk out and I'm the rapper, everybody's going to see me and know my name as
Yep.
that embodiment of that thing.
A body,
And it's the
exactly.
same
Yep.
thing that you do in all the other rooms. So like, mm,
Yeah.
damn.
And that's the way to go. Because the thing is that if you're a rapper amongst rappers, like, you know what I mean? That's like trying to be, a
A
pen
room full of
amongst
rappers waiting for their turn.
Yeah, like everybody's waiting and everybody has the same goal. Everybody has the same dream. They're all going after the same thing. And it's like competition is great. You know what I mean? Competition
Yeah,
is great. The thing about me is that I love competition, right? I am a very
yeah.
competitive person. You already know the deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm a competitive person. But the thing is like competition isn't just about winning. Competition, what makes you a good competitor is not just winning, it's strategy.
Yeah.
Strategy is what makes you good at what you do, right?
Mm,
So the thing is like I want to win.
mm,
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see, well, how are other people winning doing this? Are they over here? Are they over there? All right, cool. If they over there, I'm gonna go over here. All right. And I'm gonna
mm,
figure out how I'm gonna get over here to connect me to over Dessa. And over Dessa
mm.
gonna bring me back to
Ah,
over here. And then by the time
okay.
I get back here, the people in this room then told the people in that room so that by the time I get here, they're gonna be like, oh, you ain't know Queena from when she was in the other three rooms? Like, oh hi,
It was
how
like,
are
no,
you?
I was just working this room.
Yeah, I was just here. Yeah, and that's just like,
Mm.
and that's how I've like, and that's how I continue to navigate. You know what I
Ooh.
mean? Because it's like that's how, it's just it's really it's strategy. You know what I mean? It's not really
Mm.
like a that's the secret sauce if you trying to,
Who
you know
out
what
here
I mean?
playing chess? Ooh.
Yeah, this is not yes, bro. Like,
Ooh.
yes, bro. We all trying to make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all trying to make it some way, somehow. But I think what's crazy too is that like there are people who may, even if there's somebody who's like, oh, there's other rappers or we had another, Pinky was a rapper. Pinky is a rapper. I don't want to say that in past tense. She's a rapper, but we don't have the same goal as artists. Because like I
Yeah.
told you before, like my goal isn't to being a professional poet. My goal isn't to be a professional rapper. Like that's not the
Yeah.
goal. Like because we think that the goal is the title. The title isn't the goal. I want to
Yeah.
live a lifestyle. There are things that I want to do. And
Yeah.
anything that allows those things to happen is the things that I want to do. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So it's like the thing is I want to be on somebody's plane. You know what I mean? Stamping my passport. Okay, is this gonna get me to do that? I'm gonna go do that. You know what I mean? I want to be on
Mm.
national television. How am I gonna get there? You know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, I want to go on tour. How can I do that? You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I'm willing to be flexible to do it in any way that, I need to, so long as I
Okay.
get to the end goal.
Got it. All right. So what's amongst your list of things? What's amongst your personal list outside? Well, I mean, you named a couple, but what's your top five things that's like I
Jesus.
gotta
Okay.
have these?
I ain't gonna hold you. So number one, because I feel like that's like is really my guiding force, right? This is really my guiding force, bro. I'm telling a story and I I am specifically going after things that confirm my story.
Mm.
Okay? So, and this is what I mean by that, bro. Like
Got it.
I am a dreamer. I am chasing after something that is unconventional that you can't see, but I can feel, you
Mm.
know? And I'm living a life that isn't traditional, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like I go after things that continue to confirm the story that success can come from that, you know?
Mm.
So that is ultimately what I'm going after, right? So when people like, if, winning the prana competition, that was
Yeah.
confirmation to a story. Oh, you can be an artist, you can go after something, you can be on the internet and make six figures. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Confirm the story. Or if it was like next level, you know what I mean? That opportunity, like I'm traveling the world as an artist. It confirms the story. You know what I mean? Like it offers credibility. You know what I mean? And it continues to like validate, like
Yeah.
what exactly it is that I'm doing. And that's like I'm going after that in so many different ways, and sometimes even in ways that people may not even they it may not make sense, right? I'll give you an
Mm.
example. I'll give you an example as one that didn't really make sense to some people. Is that right when I found out I was going to Costa Rica, I had also got accepted into a another residency program. It was a fellowship program. This
Yeah.
particular fellowship program was going to be in New York City, right? And it was a fellowship program that was partnered with Google, right?
Yeah.
Where I was going to be learning creative strategy, right?
Yeah.
These aren't, again, touring artist Queena. Like I could be traveling the
Yeah.
world or I could be in somebody's boardroom creating a marketing message. This is the same Queena going after
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Two completely different things, right? So I
Yeah.
had gotten into this program, but I had told him I was like, listen, I had it was mind you, it was a class. So it was
Mm-hmm.
basically for like maybe 4 months I'd be taking this creative strategy course, and they would basically be assisting me in trying to get a role in as a corporate creative. Now, I told him that I was like, listen, I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm be gone for 3 weeks, So they was like, oh, we really love your application, but we can't, you got to be here for the whole program. So I wasn't able to
Yeah.
do it, right? I wasn't able
Mm-hmm.
to do it. But that's an example of like, that wasn't, most people would have looked at that as like, yo, why would you? Because I wouldn't have gotten paid for it. I would have
Yeah.
had to be, going all the way out to New York. You know what I'm saying? And that would have been taking time and energy out of all this, professional artistry that I wanted to do. But I didn't look at it like that, right? Because for
Yeah.
them, anybody who went into that creative program, by the way, anybody who got into that program, they are doing creative strategy briefs with major companies, Spotify,
Yeah.
Delta Airlines, Google, right? So I'm
Mm.
thinking to myself, oh, okay, I may not get paid for this program, but at the end, I'm gonna have a design brief with Google, or I'm gonna have a design brief with like Spotify, whatever. And then what does
Mm.
that do? That solidifies my story, that confirms my story. It offers me more credibility, so that the next
Yeah.
time I go for another opportunity, you know what I mean, no matter where it is, if I want to go for some with the embassy, if I want to find some other program or whatever, it's like, hey, yo, now I'm traveling over to Costa Rica, but I also got, marketing briefs with this company, and like I'm working with like, Amazon, and like this
Mm.
is I'm whatever confirms the story that like you should work with me, I'm doing it.
Mm.
That's what it is.
Mm.
Even if it don't pay me, right? And even if it don't, like, sometimes it's not as glamorous as like, flying off and, becoming a rock
Yeah.
star. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's not that. Sometimes I see the value in just being like, oh, I'm gonna do that thing that's gonna cost me time and money, but I'm gonna come out with something that's going to help validate what I do.
Some sort of network, some sort of like
Exactly.
this is what I've
Yep.
I've connected with. I'm a little bit more spread out. More
Yep.
people know the story. More people can tell
Yes.
the story.
And guess
Mm.
and guess who I would have been in that class of people or whatever? The poet, right? The wordsmith, I
Yeah.
would have been that for these people who are doing these like graphic design and the creative strat, whatever. I would have been that for them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I would have been one of a few, not one of many. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then developing a skill,
Yeah.
developing my skill in creative strategy, because it's like I'm not just that, you know. I'm not just
Yeah.
somebody who like writes, we think, bro.
Yeah.
Like we got thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Sure
got
do.
thoughts. We got thoughts.
So, all right. So the story that we're confirming
Yeah.
in one sentence, what is it?
Uh Ooh, one sentence. Hold on. I was about to say it quick, but I was like, damn, I don't know if I want to sacrifice my sentence. Um, Dang. I think I got a few sentences. I ain't gonna hold you. So my first one is dreams come true.
Okay.
Um, I think the other one that comes to mind is that you could do what you want. And then another one comes to mind. There's no rules.
Mm. Mm.
So it's like, I think like in like
I
that's
feel like, yeah, I feel like you can do what you want. There are no rules is that's the sentence.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the sentence. Cause
it's
like
like,
literally you are like literally just breaking all the rules. It's like, oh,
all
y'all
of
said
them.
we should do it like that. Nah. I don't want to do it like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. People
I
gotta
should be that.
no,
Eh.
no, I don't like
One
that.
bio? Not really.
Not a fan. Not a fan. I don't think that's the way I should
Uh,
That's not
I
me.
think I'll do
That's not
many
me.
things.
I don't Yeah, jack of all creative traits. I think yeah, it's just, people, they box you in, but like you also got to understand, bro, like I'm coming from a space where, I wasn't a strong student in school. And it wasn't because I wasn't
Mm.
smart. It was just because I didn't want to do that, and
I
I
don't want to
didn't
do
follow the rules.
that way.
Yeah, like it just wasn't the case for me. You know what I'm saying? I also don't have a college degree, which means I am, in a workforce that is against me. You know what I mean? When
Mm,
I go to, try to, if I wanted to go into employment, like I'm probably looking into labor as opposed to being able to do something for my mind, despite my ability to, probably outwork, you know what I mean? Uh, a lot of my peers, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
you
they're
even break the rules with that, cause dog. I mean,
it's
I've
true.
seen mother with degrees not be in certain rooms that you.
That is true.
ah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I'm
yeah.
not gonna do that way.
That is true. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I do not.
yeah.
There are no rules. You know what I
There
mean?
are
Because
no rules.
there are no rules. Because I've made six figures without a degree, and maybe I could make
Yeah.
one with one. Who knows? You know what I mean? But like, I think that that's like. But I want people to understand like that's like the traditional route that most people may take. I did not take it. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I didn't take the traditional route. I've had more jobs than I have, fingers and toes. I don't stay in one place for a very long time. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I also like, I know people will be like, "Oh yeah, like you got to go after like you get one thing and you focus on it." And I think if
Yeah.
anything, my main focus is just trying to be a better version of myself and staying in the thing in my ministries, but like my ability to express myself, to tell stories, I had to loosen that. I had to loosen the way that it was like I'm not a poet, I'm a storyteller. Where can I tell
Yeah.
stories? Where can words
Mm.
work for me? Where can they work? They
Mm.
can work in marketing, they can work in advertising, they can work in touring, they can work in, copy writing, they can work in, playwriting, they can work in here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna find all the places where people use words. They can work in
The
podcasting.
world.
You know what I
The
mean?
world.
I'm gonna find wherever it is, and I'm going to figure out like, okay, what interests me, and then I'm going to keep developing skills in that, and I'm still going to do that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because luckily
Mm.
for me, the that program that I got that I would have gotten into, I made a really good connection with them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I was like, listen, I really appreciate everything, whatever, made a really good connection, and they even recommended me for another program. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Wow.
like it was very much like, oh nah, like we, I know the CEO of this one. Go, and it was paid. So it's like
Yeah, there we go.
you know what I mean? So
I don't got the
yeah.
button. Nah, I got the
Yeah, we
button.
ain't got the, what I'm saying, we gonna drop that in there. But like, yeah, no, I made the difference. Like, so it's like, and I'm finding every way we could do that, including the podcast. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And because
yeah,
this is another one of those ways, like, but I want to like, in 2024, like we gotta get into hosting. You know what I mean? We
yeah,
got to get into like event
yeah,
hosting or whatever. And like, we got to get
yeah,
into like these spaces. We got to touch the people now.
yeah. No, it's more than time. It's more than time. They already told us they requested it, so we getting things lined up for sure.
Yeah.
I see the damn clock again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why
I
I was
see the
like,
damn clock again, so I feel like damn,
yeah,
we
nah, it
gotta
is.
wrap it. We
It
gotta
is. We
wrap it
got to.
up.
We got to. We got to. We got
Oh
to. But this
man.
was a special edition episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
this
it's like
was a
I
special.
do.
Y'all got a part one, part two. I mean,
Yeah. Part one,
it
part
was
two.
yeah, it was a lot of definitely a lot of gems, and I definitely wanted you to speak on your experience because I think that I I see a change in you. I hear it in you. I hear it like just confirmation, and it's not that you've never walked around with this because like, bro, like of everybody in the group, if there was one who
If
needed to
there was
tell
a
us all to keep going. I think you were that one.
Yeah, yeah, from the
There was
very
one to remind us all of our power.
yeah, from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, nah, but like I think that sometimes even big dog need confirmation, and so
yeah, nah.
definitely
Big dog got it from bigger dogs.
ah.
I
So the
am a
cycle
tadpole.
continues. Yeah,
Yeah, I
nah,
am a tadpole, bro. But I think like, at the end of the day, like, when we talk about environments, when we talk about, being in different spaces, like you can't limit yourself. And I
not at
recognize
all.
how much I was limiting myself simply because, and it wasn't on purpose. I just wasn't in those rooms. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I wasn't in those worlds because you gotta understand, bro. I could feel right now I'm on 100. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm on like, yo, I got all the momentum in the world. I could change my life. This is what I want to do. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
feel right now doing this one residency. But at the end of the day, I sat down with the director of that program, and this program has been going. This was the cohort number 10,
Yeah.
right? So this program has been going over a decade long. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they do 5 residencies a year. This is that has to be multi-million-dollar program. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they are doing this consistently. And there are people who make this happen. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like it's not just, and I had to say to
It's
my, like,
yeah.
that's a whole other world.
Yeah.
That is
There's
a
a
whole
whole
nother
bracket.
world. You know
A
what I'm saying?
bracket. There's somebody up here that made all of this shit
Everything.
move
Yeah.
for
I'm
10
at the,
years.
I am seeing the last steps. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing the final
Mm.
steps of it coming to fruition, but we're talking about the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. We're talking about Meridian
Mm-hmm.
International Center. We're talking about the U.S. Department of State. We're talking about the U.S. Embassy, both in
Mm.
America and in San Jose. So these
Mm.
like these cultural programs. There's huge.
It's moving pieces.
There's
Yeah.
moving pieces. It's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. And then, like just to know that that exists in the world, like that's what I mean by like we limit ourselves not consciously, but because we just don't know.
Mm.
We don't know that these kind of things exist. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We don't know that they exist. And it's like, everything that you go through, everything that I go through, we become an example.
Yeah.
Become an example that these things exist, that it is real, and once people see us, they can believe in it, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I say my number one thing is credibility. Because the
Mm.
more I start to tack on, the more we start to tack on that, like, oh, you could do this, you could do that.
Yeah.
Like that is what builds us. That's what gives us the value. You know what I mean? That's what gives us
Mm.
the value, because now people will look at it and be like, oh, not this makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't follow what you can't see.
Oof. Bro, on that note,
Yeah.
on that note, dog. I think we
Yeah.
gotta wrap it up for the people. My God.
Yeah, we got to wrap it for
Gems.
the people. I really hope you guys enjoy, because we going to come
Gems.
back. We going to come back with, like, the standard setup of the episodes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
especially since, Kim and I have a lot of conversations to be had about, how we're going to stand out for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stand out, bring some of these strategies to the pod, and
For real. Yeah. Nah, definitely laying some things out. Got some work, been brewing some things on the back end as well.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
might be adding players to the team. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yo, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they say that if you want to get somewhere fast, you go by yourself. You want to get somewhere far, you go with someone else.
Yeah,
So, we trying to go far, you know.
exactly.
We trying to go real far, and we want to bring you guys along on that journey with us. For real.
Yeah.
And you really get to watch this as it unfolds, you
Mm.
know. So yeah, I really appreciate every single person who listened to the part 1 and part 2 of this. If you guys want to see more information on this or whatever, hopefully I already dropped at least like a snippet of what I got going on
Yeah.
from Costa Rica, because I'm gonna be posting stuff on my YouTube channel, so you guys can see,
Nice.
just a bit about what that experience was like for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Listen, y'all, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. This has been another episode of the Life We Chose podcast. I'm your host, Chemistry.
Queena Bergen here.
We love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, this is the life that we chose. All about goals, all about getting the go. Pedal to metal, we drove. Head to the heels, I wanna get me a boat. 2020 be the